Good evening and welcome to the Whaler Guys. I'm Jerry Irwin along with Peter Hindle. We are having one heck of a day here. It's a stormy afternoon here in Hartford. Lots of visible lightning, hail. Hail was at your house.
Hail, hail.
Yep, hail the whale.
Yeah, all hail the whale.
And Pete and I had an exciting day. We'll fill you in with some details. We went out to try to catch a whale. Didn't work. We're not bringing them back just yet. We did catch 4 or 5 fish out in eastern Connecticut.
Northeastern Connecticut.
Yep.
Mashapog actually holds the record for largemouth bass in the state of Connecticut, which is like 13 pounds.
Wow.
So you can imagine that. I mean, I think altogether we didn't even catch 13 pounds of fish, but
No.
that was back in 2004. So that's even good to know because it's not like one of those lakes where, yeah, the record's 13 pounds in 1932. This guy with no teeth caught a largemouth bass. No, this is recent. So we went out.
So recently a guy with no teeth.
Yeah, recently when the guy, but that was his choice. Back then they didn't have a choice. They didn't have teeth. That's
That's
hey,
right.
What are you gonna do?
We had a great time. A little sunburn on my legs. Thank God you can't see him.
Yeah.
And Pete was pretty good out there. He is quite the fisherman, I must say.
Yeah, I know how to get tangles out, and I know how to get into them apparently because anyway. But what are you gonna do?
You caught the lunker of the day, though.
I stuck with it.
Yeah, you
I mean,
did.
there was thundering and lightning, and you were like, we're gonna die out
We
here. And
gotta
I said,
go.
And I was like the Caddyshack guy. I just want that one largemouth, then I can get struck with lightning.
That's right.
And it doesn't matter.
And you can die happy.
Well, that's right.
That's right.
Say he was never a lightning fan, but
Yeah.
they found him.
Yep, they found him.
Yeah. So but after that we went to, I don't know if you guys have ever been out there, but in the Ashford on Route 74 in Ashford, exit 69 off of 84 East, we went to Willington Pizza 2, which is well known because of a lot of these stores, basketball players, UConn, they go to Willington Pizza a lot. And we met Brittany, who was their server, and she said, my husband Joe is a huge Whaler fan. What's up with you guys and all this Whaler gear? And we explained we have a show.
We didn't
and
have
everything.
all of our Whaler gear on.
Not all of it.
We had hats,
Yeah.
and Pete had the Whalers Brigade
I
green
have a
T-shirt
Whaler
on.
fishing pole. And
That's right. That's right.
So it was cool though to get here we are. We're just at a pizza restaurant and a
In
woman
Eastern
comes up.
Connecticut.
Yeah, and a woman comes up. She's like, "What's up? My husband really believes they're coming back. What's going on?" So we filled her in a little bit. We told her, "Hey, watch the show." Joe and Brittany, hi.
Yep. Thank you very
It's-
much.
it's happening.
The pizza
Yeah.
was great.
Yes.
We had the red potato pizza
Oh, it's a killer.
and
Yeah.
and the pepperoni on the other side there.
Yeah, absolutely good stuff.
And
So-
the teriyaki chicken wings were
yeah,
quite good
really
too.
good wings too. It's a fun place, and we said you guys need some Whaler merchandise in here. Maybe we can give them a T-shirt from the show or something. And they said, sure. Maybe we'll hang that there because
Yeah.
they have a lot of memorabilia, all kinds of sports and antique things. It's a really cool place and a great stop after you do a day of fishing and you get out of potentially dangerous storms. I mean, we were playing like Deadliest Catch, you and I. We were like,
Yeah,
Anyway.
which isn't good because I don't swim.
Yeah,
so,
you-
I
the-
had
yeah.
the life jacket on. I'm ready to go.
That
We
ma-
did post pictures on the Whalers Brigade
Yep.
Facebook page, so take a look when you have a chance. You'll get a kick out
Yeah.
of our antics on the water.
Yeah, we had a great time.
We are 63 days away from hockey season.
Yes.
And that's your favorite player on the Bruins, Brad Marchand.
Oh, yeah. You had to bring that up, huh? Yeah. Anyway.
Well, choose 63 on your team.
Yeah. On my team?
You don't have a team.
Yeah, I don't have a team. And then the Whalers never had a 63.
No.
Yeah, this is back.
No.
I mean, we get Dave Semenko. I think is the
To
closest.
me, a 63 is like a
Yeah.
left tackle for a football team.
I'm not kidding when I tell you that Dave Semenko is probably the closest number to. No, you know what? There's a 50. Someone was a 50 something, right? No.
51.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say Dave Semenko at 72 is the closest to.
Yeah,
63.
I would happen to agree.
what are you
So
gonna
we
do?
have 63 days until hockey season
Yep.
starts, and we will then be happy once again.
Yes.
You, because the weather will be cooler.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yes.
I've been
and,
dying.
and we had a great conversation with Keith McCambridge.
Yeah.
And we have a request in with UConn
Yep.
to try to get Coach Kevin on, and we've made contact with Quinnipiac Sports Information Director Ken Sweeten.
Yeah.
Nice guy. It would be better if he returned my emails. But
We should
you know what?
yeah.
We're trying to expand down to the eastern part of Connecticut. We're going to reach out to Yale as well and try to get some media passes to get down there and see some
Yeah.
games and be able to report on the state of hockey,
Yeah.
the whole state, as much as we can.
Yeah, because it's a market. Whether people think it's all Bruins and Rangers, but not really. I mean, there is a lot of hockey that happens in Connecticut that is not necessarily to a certain other state. Connecticut has a large, following, and UConn, as we've all, beaten it over our head with everybody. UConn leads in Hockey East attendance, second in Hockey East attendance games in the last 3 seasons. And, we might as well talk about the upcoming schedule.
Sure.
Because it's kind of interesting to look at you always get 15 games at the XL. So these are the 15 games at the XL Center. The opener is an interesting one because UConn's had some success against Boston University, and they will play them on open up the XL Center season on Saturday, October 20th. So that would be the opener. If you remember last year, Adam Huska, the rookie goalie, and UConn went into Boston University and shut them out 4-0.
Yeah.
And that was a huge game, a huge win, put them on the map. To go over some other games. So the following Friday, November 3rd and 4th, so this is Friday and Saturday, back-to-back games against Vermont, which is always a tough matchup. The last couple of years they played Vermont and needed the points, and they had a little bit of luck. They had a couple wins against Vermont, but overall, kind of a tough one.
And Vermont shut down their season last year.
That's right.
That's
yeah,
right.
That kind of
that was the end of that.
Yeah. And if you remember last year,
no, I'm sorry, the year before.
It might have been the year before.
Boston, Northeastern took care of us.
Yeah,
this
Northeastern
past year.
takes care of UConn quite well. Yeah. So last year, if you remember, UConn traveled to Ohio State and lost 1 game, but then the second game they tied 5-5. Ohio State's coming to the XL Center for 2 games, November 10th and 11th. This is also a Friday and Saturday. So that'll be an interesting matchup because Ohio State usually is in the rankings. Pretty fairly decent, good hockey team. And the next Saturday, November 18th, you got UMass Lowell, who always leads Hockey East attendance pretty much regularly recently. But UConn's had some very good luck. If you remember last year, I think they tied and beat UMass Lowell.
Yes.
So they didn't even lose to UMass Lowell last season. Now, November 25th, they play RIT, which I think you told me is Rochester
Institute of Technology. Yep.
Yep. So they play that, and I think they played them on the road last year.
Yes.
Then on the Tuesday, November 28th, they play Northeastern. That's kind of interesting because I think that's the team that UConn has not beat since they joined Hockey East.
They beat them once, I thought.
They might be 0-8 or something like that.
Are they?
Since they joined Hockey East. So, and then Tuesday, December 5th, they have UMass Amherst, and Amherst is usually at the bottom of the ranks. So that should be an easy win for them, hopefully. Now, Friday, December 8th, they play Colgate, also another team that they played last year.
Yes, they did.
Which I believe they tied last year.
Yes, they did.
Then Tuesday, they take a month off from December 8th to about January 2nd. January 2nd's a good game. It's an in-state rival game. They play Quinnipiac. We all know that UConn has a great, tremendous following, but Quinnipiac's kind of the pinnacle of Connecticut hockey. They are the ones that made it to the final. They're respectively very good year in and year out, and they beat UConn pretty regularly, on a 2-3 goal. So January 2nd, in-house. That should be a good, well-attended game as well.
And Quinnipiac has quite a following because they sell out every single one of their games. I mean, it's granted it's only 4,300 or 4,500
seats.
I
think it's even less than it's like 30 something.
Yeah,
3,000 something.
But they sell out every game.
Yeah, they do. They do. So after that, we have January 5th is a Friday. Merrimack, another Hockey East opponent. And January 18th is a Thursday night. They play Providence, also another Hockey East team that they've had a rough road with.
Yeah.
Then Saturday, January 27th, New Hampshire. Friday, February 2nd, BC.
Wow.
That's always a big one. So end of the year, usually BC, they kind of push BC into the November range. I think they play them November the first year. But this is going to be BC at the end of the year. And then February 16th, it will be BU again. So we also have the last game is Thursday, February 22nd. That's against UMass. And then March 2nd, the playoffs start. So, looking at your UConn season, this is the year where they kind of, when we talk about March 2nd playoffs, we want to be in a home playoff situation, even if it's the 8th or 7th seed, but they got to be in that top 8. And you know what? I can't remember if there were rule changes to Hockey East. There may not be as many teams playing a host a game. I'm not sure. Because if you remember, I think it's the first top couple teams get a bye.
Yes.
And then I think it's like 3 through 8 host, and then something along those lines. But anyway, UConn could really benefit from home attendance. They did have home games, if you remember. I think it was 2
against
years
Vermont.
ago. Yeah, and they ended up losing both of those.
And I
was
think
a
that
3-game
was
series.
I think that was a 7-8 matchup.
Yeah, that was
so I
something
think
like that,
they
yeah.
have to be 7 to get the home ice
yeah,
advantage.
I think it might be 7 or 8. I can't remember. But anyway, this is the year where they kind of need to do that because people always the naysayers like to point out the attendance is. I wouldn't say it's dropped as much, but it's not what it was the first season. But that tends to happen with a lot of things. You get it. Hockey East, 2014, 2015 season was huge. So they need something to kind of keep the momentum going. We got great words from Coach Kavanaugh, who said he loves having the XL Center. We went over that in the last show.
Yeah.
He had great things to say about the crowd, the XL Center, and you haven't been to a UConn game. As we were telling Joe and Brittany, they've been to UConn games at the Wellington Pizza place. They love it. So, it's definitely something to check out. This could be a very good season. We'll have to see how they do. They did lose Tage Thompson and some very key players. So
and Rob Nichols.
Those are huge losses. So we'll have to see how that goes.
And again, we have to remember they're college kids, and each game is a new game for them. Right. Meaning, okay, don't dwell in the past. Move on to the next game. And I believe Coach Kavanaugh has the right mindset with them.
Yeah.
You've seen them improve each year.
Yeah.
This year against a very strong Northeastern team,
right.
It didn't work out too well, but they made it to the playoffs again. That's 2 years in a row they made it to the playoffs, and that's very, very important. And so, the naysayers can say what they want, but it's great hockey to watch. And, for $15 a ticket, come on. Get in the building.
And, out of 15 games, they have 6 Friday night games, 4 Saturday games, 3 Tuesday night games, and 2 Thursday games. So, that's a pretty good grouping. And, to be honest, I would bet that UConn leads Hockey East in attendance on Tuesday nights.
Oh, sure.
It's amazing. If you get a decent Hockey East matchup on a Tuesday night in Hartford, I mean, we've seen games in the 7,000 range and the 6,000 range on Tuesday nights. Now, if they're playing, RIT or AIC, that's different. But if they're playing, BU or BC or New Hampshire or, some of these
even
other...
Providence.
Even Providence. Yeah. Those games, they draw well on a Tuesday night. It's amazing. So they're doing that. We wanted to also talk about the Wolfpack, who's made some changes, which is a good thing in the standpoint of last season was really brutal to watch. The team constantly lost leads. Was blown out a couple of times, just all kinds of mix-ups. So they have new goaltending this year, and they also had made some key signings that we wanted to talk about because there's so many changes coming up because they really kind of revamped this whole team. They got the new coach, they got the new GM.
Now you have a new assistant coach.
Right, that's Joe Mormina, who was playing with Rochester in the AHL. He's only 35 years old, but now he's going to be an assistant coach. He did spend a season last season as an assistant coach with, it was a college. It was Mercyhurst, I think.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. So that was one thing to get the assistant coaches, get Keith McCambridge, the guys that he can work with, and the Wolfpack had signed Eric Selleck, who was a guy who played in Springfield. He's been in the Arizona Coyotes organization, 46 games last year, 103 penalty minutes. I think they finally found a guy who maybe will
be physical,
defend the Wolfpack when they're in their own zone. They also have Dan DeSalvo, who played with the Manitoba Moose most recently, and we think that this is somebody that maybe Coach McCambridge kind of liked because his rookie season, this Dan DeSalvo was with the Manitoba Moose, in which that's where Coach McCambridge was coaching.
Yes.
So he may have liked him, but Dan DeSalvo's at 40 points in 66 games last year. So a decent scorer. He's about 5'7", 178 pounds. He's one of the smaller guys, but obviously he gets a nose for the net. So they also signed Cole Schneider, another forward, 66 points in 71 games. That was for Rochester last year. And they have Paul Carey, 55 points in 55 games.
Very nice.
Pretty good. Yes. That was for Hershey. And these are finally some scoring. There might be, that was one of the key things last night. They had Nicholas Jensen last year, who they lost, through the free agent market. So they're finally getting some point scores. Now they have a guy that can rough people up. And for those paying attention at home, the Wolfpack schedule. So there's 13 Friday nights and 12 Saturdays. So that's 25 of the 38 games are on the weekend. We also talk about the Wolfpack attendance. Last year not too hot, 24th.
But not last.
Yeah, not dead last.
But that's important because the team finished last in the whole league.
Yeah.
So that's a credit to a lot of the Hartford fans for getting out there and supporting a club
team that was
well below 500.
Well, it's the worst team in the league.
Right, and so, for them to come in and cheer on their team, and we were not last in attendance here in Hartford, that still says a lot.
Yeah.
And the other thing about with these signings and the new coaching staff, basically, is the Rangers backfilled a lot of positions up top.
Yeah.
You know, they got Shattenkirk. That was the wow.
Yeah.
The wow addition this
The
year.
wow factor.
Stepan and Ranta went on their way.
Yep.
But now that you've backfilled all those positions up top, maybe we can keep the guys down here in Hartford and they can build some chemistry together.
Boy, that'd be nice because they definitely need. You definitely need those Hartford hockey hero, the type that, the guy that scores the big goal and everybody loves him, and he's still here. I mean, yeah, they're going to make their trips to New York and maybe get a tryout and this and that, but it'd be great if the Rangers stay healthy.
Yeah.
And, this Wolfpack team, get some excitement in Hartford hockey because, if it's going to be AHL and the Wolfpack, and I know that a lot of people don't like the Wolfpack, but, hey, if they're great AHL games, why not, be a part of that? We should also mention that the Wolfpack, the MSG, the Rangers, are currently in negotiation with the CRDA over a new contract. Now, originally how it came about to be was the Rangers, I think, have offered a 2-year deal, and this would be for $3.1 million, we're hearing. I think that was in the CRDA notes of last. And so they're negotiating that, and, we've been through this a lot. Whether you like the Wolfpack or not, they just put a new ice sheet in. You cannot get rid of the AHL, say, well, we don't want the Wolfpack here, and only have a new ice sheet for 15 games of hockey with UConn. You need those 55 dates of hockey.
This is our return on investment.
Yeah, and there's nowhere else to go. I mean, I can understand people if other franchises were beating down the door to get into Hartford. I'd be like, well, let's talk to this team. Let's talk to that team. There ain't nobody there.
No.
The AHL is spread all over the place. And, it's another thing, Wolfpack, when they finished 24th, 5 teams played 4 less games than them and drew more. So, but those are all those West Coast teams, San Diego, teams like that have moved from the AHL East to the AHL West. And since those franchises moved, they can't, they're not looking to get into Hartford. So it's really Rangers are nothing.
The other thing you have to talk about also is, as we discussed, Albany's not in the league this year.
Yeah.
They finished, I think, bottom. Dead last. And now they're not even in the league. They're an ECHL team, aren't they?
No, they're nothing.
Nothing right now?
As far as I know, there's nothing in Albany.
But again, that's another team now not in the Northeast.
Right.
So
yeah, they went to,
that's a problem because we want to keep more teams over here in the Northeast.
Yeah.
So you get to see more of those teams down in Hartford.
Right. Because this year, they open up with the Charlotte Checkers. That's a team you haven't seen since. Oh, brother. I want to say
5 years ago?
Yeah, 5-6 years ago. And, they went through a different, alignments and leagues. But I think in 2010-2011 season, they opened with Charlotte, and they're doing it again now. Ulf Samuelson, of course, is not coaching there anymore. He went on to coach with Joe Quenneville and Kevin Dineen in the Chicago Blackhawks. So we won't see him, but the Charlotte Checkers are essentially the Carolina Hurricanes,
farm,
and it's kind of like what the Whalers farm team would have been, maybe not in Charlotte, but but it's weird how these things always come back to.
It is, and now with this new ice sheet being put in and it's NHL ready, we can possibly start, not we, but the state can start now going out and saying, hey, we have a brand new ice sheet.
Yeah.
We have a building that can house a team.
Yeah.
The renovations still have to be done.
Right.
The state concession budget portion of the concessions is done, has been voted on, it's been approved. Now they have to get the budget done.
Yeah.
That's going to be some time.
Yeah, and that's the sticking point.
And that's the problem is because that money for the XL Center is within that budget.
Right.
So we have to wait till maybe, they said the other day, it could be as late as September 22nd.
Yeah, which is bad for NHL news because, we're assuming here, but, you have to assume that the NHL is waiting to find out, are you guys going to continue to develop this XL Center? Now you have NHL ready ice. They're doing the dasher board system. They're doing the boards, new boards. So you're going to have a rink this season for the first time in 42 years. That's brand spanking new. Now everything else around it is still kind of old.
Yeah.
And there's still so many issues. And obviously, we're still talking about $200 million worth of work to do over the next 3 years. But if there's a team that believes in Hartford enough, and if there's this investment group steps up, these are a lot of ifs, of course. But the point is, there's still, Hartford's still in the game more so than say a Kansas City or even at this point a Seattle, which has ideas but doesn't have anything in concrete.
Yeah. We have concrete. We have a bunker.
We have it looks like as Michael Freeman said at the CRDA, the XL Center from the outside looks like something that that was getting ready for the invasion of Normandy, like built as a defensive zone.
Exactly.
But anyway, it's an old arena, and it needs work whether you get the NHL or not, and that's why we're here today.
It is, and we continue to try to get information from our sources out there. You know, there's been some sources saying the NHL was in town, but, you know, we've never confirmed it, and we're not going to go out on a limb and say, oh, yeah, they're here, because we can't do that.
Yeah.
It's not fair to do. We like our source, but, you know, we need to know definitively that this is happening.
Yeah.
You know, we'll dig deeper on that one and try to have some people come around and help, maybe have a cup of coffee with them and
see if we can find something out.
Twist their arm.
Yeah. I mean, because hey, we're the
or I'll
guys.
hold them down and you smack them. You know, we have a new season ahead of us with UConn and the Wolfpack. New ice sheet, new boards, new dashers, and it's so imperative that we keep on putting people in that building to pay back what we now, as taxpayers, are paying for with this ice sheet, as well as hopefully this renovation package that we can get pushed through the legislature, because I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. And we enjoy going to the hockey games and seeing the young AHL players from all over the country, primarily in this region. But it's nice to see, you know, the Bork brothers playing when they come to town. You know, I think it's hilarious. I can tell you a quick story of my directness. I was at a Bruins game with a friend of mine, and I was able to get downstairs after the game. And Ray Bork went by, and I had a program that I said, hey Ray, can I have your autograph? And he walked away being entitled and, you know, snotty. And I said, yeah, go ahead, keep on walking by. Just diss all the people who are paying your salary. Well, he came back, and he took my program, and he went to sign his autograph, and the R came out and nothing else, and he goes, hey, next time you're going to be a jerk, make sure you have a pen that works. So that was my my introduction to calling Ray Bork out.
All the four-letter words, he chose jerk, right? That was it?
No, it wasn't jerk.
It wasn't
no,
jerk?
no, it wasn't jerk.
It's funny because
it's what happens to your finger when you touch a thorn on a rose.
5-letter words.
Yes.
Hey, 5-letter words work too.
Yeah. And it was loud enough for a lot of people to hear.
You know, that seems about right. You know, it's funny when the Bork brothers were in Hartford. I can remember when my media pass riding the elevator and go, wow, that's Ray Bork. And it wasn't that he was a jerk or anything. It's just that, God, he killed the Whalers, and I hate him.
Yeah, I know. You know, it's hilarious because, you know, we go back and forth with the Bruins and the Rangers, and, you know, I like hockey for what it is. I enjoy watching the Bruins because it's in this area.
I enjoy rooting against them because they're in this area.
And you're right.
So,
and, you know, there's teams. It's like Montreal. I can't stand Montreal. I despise them. So when the Bruins play Montreal, I'm like, you better kick their behinds. And you know, so. But we'll keep on digging. We want to make sure we go off on time tonight because the other night we were a little long-winded. So you know, until next time, we're the Whaler guys. You guys are the Brigade. We are one nation under green. Remember. Step up, Hartford. Let's support our hockey. Have a great night.